Daniel Walker and Grace Evans met during their college years at the University of Michigan. Daniel, a charismatic business major, had a magnetic presence that drew people in with ease. Grace, a psychology student, was known for her kindness and compassion. Their love story was a campus sensation, and it wasn't long before Daniel proposed with a grand gesture on a snowy December evening. Their wedding was a picture of perfection. Family and friends gathered to witness their union, and none shone brighter that day than Grace's younger sister, Emily Evans. With her striking blonde hair and lively personality, Emily was a showstopper. She was Grace's maid of honor, her closest confidant, and Daniel's future sister-in-law. For years, the Walkers lived the American dream. They moved into a suburban home in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Daniel's career flourished as a financial consultant, and Grace became a counselor at a local high school. Together, they had 2 children, Ethan, 8, and Lily, 5. From the outside, they were the quintessential happy family, but beneath the surface, cracks were forming that no one could see, except for one person. Emily's visits to the Walker household became more frequent after she graduated from college. She was fun, free-spirited, and always willing to babysit. The children adored her, and so did Daniel, though not in a way that a brother-in-law should. It started innocently enough. Late-night conversations while Grace was asleep. Jokes that went too far. Lingering glances that both of them noticed but didn't address. Over time, their connection deepened into something far more dangerous. Daniel's thoughts became consumed by Emily. Her presence felt like a light in his otherwise ordinary life, and he started to resent Grace's quiet stability. For her part, Emily didn't initially encourage Daniel's attention, but the power of being desired by her brother-in-law began to cloud her judgment. Flirting turned into subtle touches, and those touches eventually became more. Text messages were exchanged in secret, first playful, then suggestive, then unmistakably romantic. Grace remained oblivious. She loved her sister and trusted her husband, never suspecting that the 2 people she cherished most were betraying her in the worst possible way. Affairs have a way of escalating. For Daniel, his obsession with Emily soon became unbearable. He viewed Grace as an obstacle, a barrier standing between him and the life he believed he deserved. Divorce was an option, but Daniel feared losing custody of his children and the financial toll it would bring. His solution, twisted as it was, seemed logical in his mind. Grace had to be removed. The thoughts began as fleeting impulses but solidified over time. He started researching methods online, looking up accidental deaths and undetectable poisons. His web history was later used as evidence against him, but at the time, it was nothing more than a secret digital footprint. One night, Daniel suggested that they take a weekend trip to Lake Hartwell, a serene spot known for its peaceful atmosphere. Grace was thrilled, thinking it was a chance to reconnect. Emily agreed to watch the children for the weekend, never questioning why Daniel was so insistent that she be the babysitter. The couple's weekend away began like a romantic getaway. They stayed in a cabin by the lake, dined on takeout, and shared a bottle of wine. But Daniel's mind was miles away, rehearsing the accident he had planned. On the second day, he suggested they go kayaking. Grace loved the water, so she agreed without hesitation. She didn't know that Daniel had tampered with her life vest, cutting one of the straps just enough that it would tear under stress. The sun was setting when they launched the kayaks into the water. It was quiet except for the sound of birds and the rhythmic splash of paddles. They floated side by side, talking about the kids and their future. Then, at just the right moment, Daniel accidentally tipped his kayak, causing a loud splash. "Help! Help!" he yelled, feigning panic. Grace turned to him, paddling closer. "Daniel, stay calm! I'm coming!" she called, her face filled with concern. As she reached him, Daniel's hand shot out and grabbed her kayak. With one powerful push, he flipped her over. She hit the water hard, gasping as cold shock engulfed her. "Daniel, help me!" she cried, thrashing in the water. He stammered, making no move to help. He watched as she struggled. Her vest, the vest he had tampered with, slipped from her body. Her eyes widened with realization and horror. "Daniel, please!" Her voice cracked with terror as she bobbed in the water, her arms flailing. Her final moments were spent fighting, but the water claimed her, dragging her below the surface. When the lake grew still, Daniel's breathing slowed. He stayed in his kayak, staring at the rippling water for what felt like hours before returning to shore. Daniel's grief was convincing at first. He called 911 and told police that his wife had drowned while kayaking. It was ruled an accident initially, but Grace's family wasn't convinced. Her parents pressured the police to investigate further, and their persistence paid off. Detectives uncovered troubling clues. Grace's life vest was found near the shore, and its strap was cleanly severed. Not the kind of tear caused by natural wear and tear. A search warrant for Daniel's electronic devices revealed his disturbing search history. Text messages between him and Emily hinted at something more than just family closeness. Emily's cooperation became the linchpin. Pressured by police, she confessed to the affair, but claimed she had no idea Daniel had planned to kill Grace. Her testimony painted Daniel as a cold, calculating man driven by obsession and entitlement. At his trial, Daniel's defense argued that Grace's death was an unfortunate accident, but the evidence was too damning. The jury took only 5 hours to convict him of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Emily's reputation was left in tatters. Her relationship with her parents crumbled, and she moved to a different state under a new name. She would later admit in a TV interview that she felt guilty every day, saying, "I'll never forgive myself for not seeing the signs." Ethan and Lily were taken in by Grace's parents, who shielded them from the grim details for as long as they could. In time, they learned the truth about their father and the aunt who'd once been a second mother to them. Daniel's story became a true crime sensation, covered in documentaries and podcasts as a tale of obsession, betrayal, and greed. But for Grace's family, it wasn't content. It was a nightmare that would never end. Daniel spends his days in a maximum security prison, haunted by the shadow of the woman he destroyed. The echoes of her pleas for help follow him in his dreams. For the world, it's just another crime story. But for those who knew Grace, it's a wound that will never fully heal.